Ladies and gentlemen, Sicko Nation, the Philadelphia 76ers just pulled off the perfect tank job against the Portland Trailblazers tonight. We're going to talk about everything that happened. Thank you guys for tuning in. We were live on Twitch, twitch.tv/runningbackphilly. Join us there for the live streams because I'm currently suspended from streaming on YouTube. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Give me 1 million likes. Like, for the fact that we're watching these tanking games and even reacting to them, I think I deserve for you to hit the like button for that. All right, let's get down to it, man. 119-102. The 76ers lose to the Portland Trailblazers, and the Portland Trailblazers were on a back-to-back. They did go to overtime with the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. The Portland Trailblazers have been playing decent the past couple of games. Their last 10, they're 5-5. But it looked like the 76ers might win the game in the first half. Andre Drummond had 16 and 11 in the first half. We're like, bro, calm down. Take it easy. What are you doing? Andre Drummond was going nuts in the first half. He even hit a three-pointer, right? He poster dunked over Shaedon Sharpe, I think. Somebody dunked on him back. This game was just full of absolute nonsense. Terrible turnovers, terrible possessions, terrible lineups. This was a straight-up tank-off. A tankathon.com main event. The game should have been sponsored by tankathon.com. But the 76ers in the first half, we're up 61-52, I believe. They had 61-55. They had a 6-point lead at halftime. And then they came out in the third quarter and absolutely, at least looked like, they threw the rest of the game. They outscored the Portland Trailblazers 32-29 in the first, 29-27 in the second, and then they got outscored in the third quarter 35-20, and outscored in the fourth quarter 28-21. They had 41 total points in the entire second half, and the Portland Trailblazers had a 19-6 run at the end of the third into the fourth that really kind of put it away. It just felt like they were really trying to win in the first half, and then somebody, I don't know who, but it feels like somebody gave some kind of speech at halftime because they came out in the second half and looked terrible. And I don't honestly mean that. Again, players don't tank. Players don't try to tank. Players try to play well for their own individual brand and their own individual contracts. And but for the benefit of the team, for whatever reason, they absolutely stunk up the joint the rest of the second half, and they lose the game. 119-102. And so they did what they should do this season. They made it interesting. They made it fun at times. And then they absolutely tanked and lost the game. So that's what needed to happen. And that is what happened. Tyrese Maxey left the game after landing hard on his hip and did not return. I want to say this, Philadelphia 76ers, you shut down Joel Embiid. Kelly Oubre had 29 points last game. You held him out tonight with an illness. Paul George, not even sure what his injury is. I guess just being a scrub. So you hold Paul George out for being a bum. And he did hit a clutch shot with 30 seconds left 2 games ago for the Sixers to win a game that we didn't want them to win. So holding Paul George out was the right move because he's, for some reason, at the end of this season, he stopped doing his podcast, and wanted to lock in and help us win. And we're like, hey, we're not trying to win. So why don't you take a seat? So here's what you need to do, 76ers. Tyrese Maxey in the last 3 games has been horrendous. Okay. He had 5 points tonight before he left the game and didn't return in the second half. He had 5 points last game. He was 0 for 10 from 3 games ago. He was 0 for 2 from 3 last game. He was 1 for 7 from 3 tonight. So he is 1 for his last 19 from 3. Tyrese Maxey is 1 for 19 from 3 in the last 3 games. He has some kind of finger injury going on, and now he lands on his hip, and he's laying there holding his hip, and he doesn't come back in the second half. It's time, 76ers, to shut down Tyrese Maxey for the season. You know, it's not even fair. It's not fair. Paul George is allowed to sit out, go to the beach, do whatever he wants to do, go get back to podcasting, whatever, and get all his money. Why does Tyrese Maxey have to be out here putting his body on the line and landing on his hip and playing with an injured finger and all this stuff for a team that you know damn well is going nowhere this season? So shut down Tyrese Maxey for the year. Now, there was and I'm not saying that Nick Nurse is trying to tank, but I do want to say this. If you weren't trying to tank, would you start this lineup in the fourth quarter? This is the lineup that Nick Nurse started the fourth quarter of this game with. Listen to this closely. Jeff Doughton Jr., Lonnie Walker, Justin Edwards, Ricky Council, Adembona. That was Nick Nurse's fourth quarter starting lineup. Jeff Doughton Jr., Ricky Council, Justin Edwards, Lonnie Walker, Adembona. I mean, dude, a career G Leaguer in Jeff Doughton Jr., a 28-year-old summer league player. Undrafted G League player Ricky Council. Undrafted G League player Justin Edwards. Second round draft pick / G League player Adembona. And a guy you just signed out of the Euro League, Lonnie Walker. That's a tanking lineup if I've ever seen one. And it just feels to me like after last game, you know, they shut Joel Embiid down for the season. They win the next game. It feels to me like somebody said, hey, it's time to start losing. Let's stop lying to ourselves. Let's stop whatever you guys are saying to the media. Let's stop all the nonsense. Everybody knows it. It's time to start losing. Let's start losing. And they come out here and they do what they did in the first half and look like they're about to win this game, which would have been, first of all, would have been hilarious to shut Joel Embiid down for the season and then go and win 2 games in a row, because we've all been saying the whole year, this team has looked better without their max contract guys out there kind of the whole season. The beginning of the season, they were trying to win. They were terrible. They started the season 3-15, you know? So it would have been funny if they would have won 2 in a row after they admit that they're tanking pretty much. But they pull off the second half tank and they lose the game. Justin Edwards also sprained his ankle in the fourth quarter. That sucks. And, you know, hopefully that's not too serious of an injury for Justin Edwards. It does help the 76ers tank because Justin Edwards is a nice player who can put up some points. He had 16 points in this game. He was a minus 16 overall. And yeah, I hope he's not hurt. That sucks. That's a young player who's taken advantage of the opportunities that he's been given in this terrible season. Happy to see him, you know, make a name for himself in the NBA after being undrafted, after being a McDonald's All-American high school player who went to Kentucky. He was projected to be a top draft pick just a couple years ago and ends up undrafted. So, you know, nice to see Justin Edwards this season, but hopefully that ankle injury isn't too serious for Justin Edwards. Quentin Grimes only had 14, so, you know, thankfully Quentin Grimes didn't drop another 75-point game and ruin the tank. He got the message this time. You know, last game he had 44, and we're like, bro, we're supposed to be losing. You want to come out here and drop 44 points and lead us to victory? What's your problem? You know, get with the times, Grimes. He was 6 for 15 in this game. He was 0 for 5 from 3. He did have 9 assists. Quentin Grimes was diamond out here, man. Drives, no-look dishes, and throwing alley-oops to Andre Drummond. And he had 14 points and 9 assists, but nowhere close to the 44, thankfully. The leading scorer in this game, well, except for the Sixers, the leading scorer in this game was Andre Drummond with 25 points. Andre Drummond had 25 and 18. He did miss a poster dunk by just losing the ball out of his hands. He did miss a layup by almost just pinning the ball in between the backboard and the rim. Andre Drummond had 25 and 18, but he's really bad at basketball. Like, it's time for everybody to admit that now. We wondered why Andre Drummond wasn't getting minutes in Chicago last year, and we were like, dude, we gotta sign Andre Drummond. He's not even getting on the floor in Chicago, and he's averaging 8 rebounds a game in 8 minutes. And then we see him this season, and we're like, oh, fuck. This is why Andre Drummond is not getting any run in Chicago. And we sign him, and we realize that he's terrible. But, you know, he had 25 and 18 in this game. Keep playing him now, obviously. You know, he's helping us tank. I think it's still funny that Nick Nurse absolutely hates playing a Dembona. You know, Drummond had 29 minutes. A Dembona had 7. Drummond was a -10. Bona was a -8. I'm not saying a Dembona is great by any stretch of the imagination right now. A lot of development left for him, but keep playing Andre Drummond 30 minutes because he can't guard the paint. Yabusele can't guard the paint, and that's what needs to happen. The 76ers need to keep tanking. Let's see, how else did they tank in this game? Speaking of not being able to guard the paint, they gave up 68 points in the paint to the Portland Trailblazers. Yes, to Anthony Simons and Shaden Sharp and Donovan Clingan. They gave up 68 points in the paint. That is an unbelievable number, and that's what happens when you play Andre Drummond at center for 30 minutes. He can't move. He can't defend the rim whatsoever. And good job. You need to keep doing it. That's what you need to keep doing, okay? They gave up 22 offensive rebounds to the Portland Trailblazers. 22 offensive rebounds and 68 points in the paint. Just a miraculous tank job. Out-rebounded 61-43. Both teams shot 31.4% from three-point range, which is pretty crazy that they were exactly the same percentage, 11 for 35. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Their largest lead was 12. They were up by 12 at one point in the first half, and they pulled off the tank and came all the way back and lost the game. They were outscored in the fourth quarter. They were outscored, not just the fourth quarter, the second half. They were outscored 63-41. So they outscore the Blazers in the first half 61-55, and then they get outscored in the second half 63-41. Absolutely perfect tank job for the Philadelphia 76ers. And before we get out of here, we go right over to tankathon.com, and we will spin the sim button. With the 76ers loss tonight, they are still tied with Brooklyn at 21-39. Both teams with a 34.8% chance at a top 4 pick. Number 1 overall, they have an 8.2% chance. Obviously, if they land at 7, OKC keeps the pick. We don't want that to happen. And we are going to sim the lottery right now. Here we go. Oh! The Philadelphia 76ers land the number 1 pick in the 2025 NBA Draft Lottery, and Cooper Flag is coming to Philadelphia. Let's go! Yeah. That was a great way to end this video. I got nothing else to say. That was one of the worst basketball games I've ever watched. We got 22 of them left. Join me live on Twitch for the games. Twitch.tv/RunItBackPhilly. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. And Yeah, I mean, I'm emotionless now with this team. Give me all your thoughts in the comments and anything else that I missed or forgot to say or whatever, all right? You guys are great. I'll see you soon. Peace.